Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunmi Learns. Today I'm going to be talking about all the reasons why I think you absolutely should get a Kindle. So I've had a Kindle now for almost a full year. I truly think it's the best gift that I've ever gotten, and I'm not overestimating when I say that I think it really did change my life. So the first benefit I think of having a Kindle is that you actually read more books. So I've seen this as an experience in my life, but it's not just my life. There are actually statistics that show on average people who have Kindles read more than people who do not. So as an example, last year I think I read only about 7 books, and 5 out of those 7 books were read after I got my Kindle. And this year, where I've had my Kindle Paperwhite, I've already read 51 books. So yes, I think having a Kindle, based on the statistics and just based on my experience, really does help you read more. And then the second benefit is that a Kindle saves you so much money. My Kindle has almost 10 times over or more paid for itself. For example, on Amazon, Kindle books are always much cheaper than physical books. And even apart from that, there are so many ways to get Kindle books for free. I use the Overdrive app. I know some people use Libby, and that connects to your library, and then you just get the books. And especially for me, who is a lazy person, I don't want to have to go to a library, physically walk there to get a book. So I can just log into my Overdrive app, and in the comfort of my own bed, I can just rent out a book, and boom, it's on my Kindle. How amazing is that? Something else that I didn't mention about saving money with my Kindle is that with, I believe, all Kindles, it comes with 3 months of Kindle Unlimited for free. And Kindle Unlimited, though I don't read a lot of books there, it does have amazing books. For example, the whole Harry Potter series is on Kindle Unlimited. The whole Percy Jackson series is on Kindle Unlimited, and so many other books as well. And yeah, I get that for free. Even when I got my first Kindle, I actually got 6 months free, because when I finished my 3 months, they extended me another offer of getting 3 months free on my Kindle. So 6 months with free books, so much money saved. And then the third benefit is that a Kindle is so convenient. So I was actually watching Gilmore Girls recently, and I was watching this episode where Rory was going somewhere, and she was taking the bus, and then she was trying to stuff all her books into her bag, and she had 8 books. And then Lorelai was telling Rory why do you have so many books? And then Rory was oh yeah, this is my book for reading on the bus, this is my book for when I get to school, this is my book for in case I don't like this first book, I'll take this one. And then she was just trying to stuff it into this bag, and I remember thinking, Rory, you need a Kindle. You need a Kindle, because I can relate to that struggle. Sometimes I'm in the mood for one book, but then it changes, and I'm maybe I actually want to read this book after all. Either ways, my mood changes as I'm reading very often, and I love that with my Kindle, I think on this Kindle right now, I have at least 30 books, which is actually small because there's so much more space to have so many more books. But yes, on this Kindle, I have so many books, and if I'm not in the mood, if I'm already out and about and I'm not in the mood for one of the books, I can just quickly switch to another book. And it's also so lightweight, it's so convenient. This is all I need to take with me. It fits into a tiny bag. It's perfect. It is perfect. And then another benefit for me, at least, is that I can read very conveniently in the dark with my Kindle. So one of my favorite places to read is under the blankets in the dark. I don't know if that's weird, but I love it. And reading a physical book is it's too difficult for me, at least. It's I have to get a reading lamp. It's just too much. So I just love my Kindle for that reason. Another benefit, which I didn't even realize until recently, is that my Kindle automatically syncs with Goodreads, or it can, if you set it up, automatically sync with Goodreads. And I love having my Goodreads updated. So once I start a book on my Kindle and I go to my Goodreads, I see that it also shows on my Goodreads as Sunmi started reading X book, and it keeps my Goodreads updated. And when I finish reading a book, it also automatically updates my Goodreads as I finished reading that book. I personally love that. I think it's cool. Another benefit that I think of having a Kindle is that it tells me how much time I have left in a book. This is genuinely very, very helpful for me. So for example, sometimes I want to pick up a book and I know I have to be out of the house in like 3 hours. I can so easily check based on my reading speed. The Kindle is able to estimate like how many hours I have left, and I can check, oh, maybe I have 2 hours left, which means sure, I can read this book and I can be out of the house in 3 hours. But then if I see that I have like 7 hours left, I'm like, let me not start reading this book now because I wouldn't finish it before I actually have to leave. Very, very convenient. Absolutely love it. Another cool benefit of the Kindle, which I do not think people talk about enough, is language learning. So with a Kindle, I can just borrow, I don't know, like Spanish Harry Potter, and then so very easily I just click on a word and then it tells me what that word in Spanish means in English, which is my first language. And I just think it's so convenient. With a physical book, I cannot do that. I'll have to I'm holding my Spanish Harry Potter and then I'll have to look up the meaning maybe on my phone. But then with this one, it's so easy as just tap the word and then the English definition comes up. So convenient. And also just in general, even in learning new words, even if I'm reading an English book, I can just tap and then it tells me the definition very easily, very quickly. It also allows me to save words that I've learned, so I can just save it into like my Kindle and it remains there forever. Amazing, amazing. And something else that I'll speak about is a Kindle's battery life. So the Kindle lasts extremely long. I think I only charge my Kindle maybe once a week. If I'm really using my Kindle a lot, I only charge it once a week and that's about it, which I think is so cool. It's not like any other gadget that I have to charge at least once a day typically. Another thing that I love about my Kindle is how I'm able to customize the fonts and my reading experience. If I get a physical book, I only get what I get. For example, there's a book, Never Never by Colleen Hoover. I don't know if it's just the copy that I bought, but the font is so tiny. It literally hurts me to look at this book. But then if I have that book on my Kindle, it's so convenient. I can just change the font to something that is more pleasant for me to read, and then I read the book with no hassle. Also, something else is when I tell people how much I love my Kindle, people are always like, oh, but you can just read on your phone or on your laptop or on an iPad. But then I really, really think the Kindle reading experience is so much nicer on your eyes than an iPad or an iPhone. With the Kindle, it has this like beautiful matte, I don't know if it's called a matte finish, but then it like has this like, it's supposed to replicate the look of paper, although it doesn't do that perfectly, but it's supposed to do that. And it's so much nicer on your eyes. And especially if you have a Kindle Paperwhite, which has like the warm mode, so it's just great for your eyes. I love reading here. I've read books on my phone and I've read books on my laptop, and it just does not compare at all to the beautiful experience of reading on a Kindle Paperwhite. And finally, I would say this is a bonus benefit, but I think a Kindle, you can customize it to make it look so beautiful. Like, look at this beautiful elephant case. I think it's adorable. I think it's so cute. So a Kindle is also an excuse to just buy a beautiful Kindle case. And yeah, if you couldn't tell, I love my Kindle. I think it's so amazing. I only used to read physical books, and I know that there is truly a charm to reading a physical book, but honestly, I've gotten over it. Even now, sometimes I have a physical book, but I still go to the online library to get the Kindle version because it's just so much more convenient for me to read a book on Kindle than to read the physical book. So yeah, that was it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm not sponsored at all by Amazon or any of those things. I just love my Kindle, and I think if you have the means, you definitely should get a Kindle. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. But yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.